Here we are. We stopped at number 6, but now we are moving to number 7, 14th hymn. Tan yajatran ritavridho agne patni vatach kridhi madhavach sujihva payaya. You can see that the tradition, which is a reciting tradition of India, made sandhis, which we undo on the way, on the fly, and then the verse, the meter comes back to life. If you read in accordance with the tradition, with sandhis, then the meter disappears. Yeah? So that means that it was imposed on the text later. So make active to the yajna. This is Sri Aurobindo's translation. Or Agni, they increase by truth. They have with them their female powers. Make them drink the sweetnesses or keen of tongue. My interpretation, make the gods, kridhi, make the gods, tan yajatran, those gods worthy of the sacrifice, who grow by truth, ritav ridhach, or fire of the divine will, Agni, come with their female powers, patnivatach kridhi, for realization. There is no word here, but I'm adding madhavach sujihva payaya, feed them or make them drink, literally, of the honey or perfect honey tongue priest. Maybe honey tongued has to be, something like this. Having tongue. Footed, like 4-footed, and so honey-tongued, really, it's English. Or Bahuvrihi compound in English, honey-tongue, also possible. We can follow the Sanskrit idea. All right, so tan, those, yajatran, worthy of sacrifice, ritavridhach, growing by the truth, ritavridh, or growing the truth, or growing in the truth. Both are possible. All these translations are possible. Or Agni, patnivatach. Patnivat is the one who has patni, who has the consort, or the female energy, or the Shakti. And this is, okay, again, accusative plural, following tan yajatran, and ritavridhach patnivatach. It's the same case, accusative plural. So make them literally accompanied by the consorts or by their female powers, patnis, shaktis. Literally bring them with shaktis. Don't bring them without shaktis. Let them work. Let them do the activities here within our consciousness. Shakti just came just in time. Bring them with shaktis, and shakti came. Madhvach sujihva payaya. Payaya is causative. Make them drink, or sujihva, or perfect tongue. That's the epithet of Agni, madhvach, of the honey. Make them drink of the honey. Interesting. The usage of the cases is very ancient. not make them drink honey, but of the honey. Something closer to French language. What is interesting here is yajatras, of course, is this worthy of sacrifice. Gods are invoked, and Agni himself is invoked in two major, we spoke about this at length, in two major formations or qualities as yajatra, worthy of sacrifice, and idya. We will meet this word again in this hymn. Sought with adoration or adored. So beloved and worthy of sacrifice. Two major qualities which are constantly going throughout all Rigvedic hymns. So there is a fundamental difference between these two. Yajatra, worthy of sacrifice, worthy of transformation, and idya, beloved. So one is beloved, sought with adoration, wanted to be loved, and other is really worthy of doing the transformation, or worthy of invoking for the work of transformation. So you can see that both have something to do with two aspects. One is of the aspect of love and bliss and consciousness, and the other is of power and efficacy and change in nature, in the being. One belongs to the being self, other belongs to the consciousness. Interesting. So you could see these two elements which are constantly found in the Veda. It's very subtle. It's not really imposing itself, but they are in this composition, Yajatra and Idya. We will meet Idya in the next immediately here. Yajatrach, Idyach, notice. Ye Yajatra, ye Idyach, te pibantu jihvaya. And those who are active to yajna, and those who are adorable, these are the gods, they pibantu jihvaya, should drink with the tongue of Agni, madhoh, of the honey, or Agni vashat kriti, in the time of the vashat. Vashat is the exclamation, the same as svaha and svadha. It's a Vedic exclamation of the offering of the sacrifice. So interesting, look at this. Ye yajatraha, ye idya. So they're kind of separated. Ye yajatraha, ye idya. Those who are worthy of sacrifice, or those who are active in the transformation, and those who are adorable. It's amazing. By the way, Agni himself is both Yajatra and Idya, and we will meet it also many times. There are rishis who invoke him as Yajatra, and there are rishis who invoke him as Idya. And I believe this has something to do with two functions of Agni, or two locations even of Agni. One is located in nature, and that is Yajatra, that is Shaiva Agni, as the son of Shiva, who is rising from the depths of nature, the immortal among mortals. It is him, hidden in nature's power, which is pushing the whole Prakriti, the whole nature, towards the betterment in evolutionary kind of engine of evolution. And the other is the flame within the heart, the one who loves, who seeks with adoration the divine presence. So these two flames, and we spoke about them, about two different types of the sacrifice, two different cults. One is ancient cult of Purusha Meda, Purusha sacrifice, and the other is the sacrifice by love or invocation or aspiration. Yes, this kind of bhakti movement in India, the rising from the heart. So both are fires, both are Agnis, and the gods are also, in the same way, can be brought down as yajatras, as those active agents of transformation, or those who are invoked with love, sought with adoration. Interesting, yeah? And we can see these two major powers within our own being. One is that power which is rising from like Kundalini Shakti, from below. Yeah? And it is also the power of Shiva Lingam. It is power of procreation. The whole nature is immortal by this very power of procreation, which can produce progeny in time and space. Though we are all mortal, we die, but we leave progeny. We cast the seed, and the seed continues to live. We continue in time and space, though we are mortal. What a miracle. So this is the power which is rising from below, making it possible. And the other is the power from the heart, from the soul, the psychic aspiration towards the divine, which is very different from that sexual drive from below. Very different. And Mother says even that there is an abyss between them, between the fire, in the flame in the heart and the flame rising from below. Abyss. They are not going together somehow in our psychology. In the supramental manifestation, they will become reconciled. But till that moment of the final adjustment or the immortality, when immortality will be finally achieved, realized, till that moment they will be in contradiction, these two powers. They are known in the esoteric history as two different cults. One is the cult by the power of nature, we achieve everything, and the other is by the power of invocation of the soul. We invoke the powers, the higher powers, which come down to our calls. We spoke about this at length, but I'm always coming back to it because this is the major vision of the Veda. And I also mentioned before that these two powers represent two different approaches to our reality. One is Dvipad, and that is power of the soul, the power, the flame in the heart. Dvipad means two-footed, literally two-leveled being. And Sri Aurobindo says it is not two-footed and four-footed, Chatushpad and Dvipad mentioned in the Veda. It's not the human being and the animal as it is translated, usually, traditionally, because how can you translate two-footed and four-footed? Only in this way. Yeah? But two-footed means, padam means the level of consciousness. Two major levels, and that is the psychic and the unborn self, and that is two-footed. And that's why it's a human being. It's the most important quality of the human being. And the other Chatushpad is four levels of consciousness. It is the physical, vital, mental, and supramental. And that is Chatushpad. That is the power of nature. When nature evolves from level to level, the whole nature, including all beings, not only a human heart and the unborn self view, but the view on all the levels, 4 levels of consciousness. So in this case, we have 2 fires. One is in Chatushpad, that is the fire of Purusha's sacrifice by nature, Kundalini Shakti, Shiva Lingam, that is Chatushpad. And that's why most probably he is called also Pashupati, the Lord of Pashus. And Dvipad, that is Jivatma and Antaratma. Quite amazing if you think of it. It's a profound knowledge, especially when you study Rig Veda and you meet this all the time, Dvipade, Chatushpade. Be merciful to Dvipad and Chatushpad, to our formation of the soul and relation to the unborn self, and on every level of our evolutionary consciousness. Yeah, you see so much in this simple Yajatra and Idya, hiding behind. Yajatra belongs to this Chatushpad. All the 4 levels have to be unfolded, formed, transformed. And Idya, beloved one, is that in the heart, seeking the unborn self. Yeah? Number 9. Akim Suryasya Rochanat Vishwan Devan Ushar Buddhah Viproho Teha Vakshati. From the world of the luster of the sun, the seer, the priest of the offering, brings the gods that wake to the dawn. Hakim is the Vedic word. This kim or nim can be added to any prefix, building a new word. Hakim means towards or onto or from. Yeah, there is another word, ad, which is from, a Vedic word. So from Rochanat, from the luminous realm of the sun, Suryasya, Vishwan Devan, all the gods, all the universal gods, Sharbuddhah, waking in the dawn or to the dawn. Viprah, Hota, Iha Vakshati. The Vipra, the Hota, should bring here. Vipra is the one who is from Rotulip to tremble in ecstasy, the ecstatic priest. And Hota, the invoker of the gods, here, Iha, Vakshati, should bring. May the invoker, the ecstatic priest, bring the gods from the luminous world of the sun, from the Rochana. Rochana is the level of Svar, of the ray of the sun, who wake with the light of the dawn. The gods, they always wake with the light of the dawn. The dawn is actually the Divine Mother. The Divine Mother in our physical world. She brings the light. She is the one who leads the sun. Sun follows her, as it is said in Kutsangirasa hymn. He follows her like the young man follows the maiden. There, where all the heroic souls of men spread in time, blissful, the blissful, they spread in time for the blissful. This is the verse. Yeah? So she is always in front. She comes before the sun, as we know, even in the physical world. First the dawn, then the sun. Sun follows her. She leads the way. She is answering to the call of Agni. Agni burns in the night. Yeah, there's night and Agni still is flaming in the night. And she, as we remember in all our Auroville bonfires, we kindle the night, in the night the fire, and we wait for the dawn. Yeah, this is our symbolism. So, and then slowly she comes. Yeah? And when the sun is rising, everybody is going home already to sleep again because they woke up too early in the morning. Right. It is a constant epithet of the gods that they are Usharbudhah. Usharbudh, the one who wakes up in the morning with Usha. So he should bring from the realm of this ray of the sun. Interesting that all the gods are considered to be living there and born there, actually, in the realm of the ray of the sun, Svar world, Rochana. Rochana, there are three Rochana levels of the Svar world. Yeah. There is the highest, what Sherbinder calls the supramental overmind, closest to the supermind, and to the Surya body, because Surya's body is another world. But the world of the ray of the sun is already a manifestation of that light. So in that world of the ray of the sun, there are three levels. The closest to the sun is the supramental overmind, then overmind proper, and then intuition or intuitive mind. And so these three levels are three rochanas. So overmental realm is the realm of the birth of the gods. All the great gods are born on the overmental level, as Shurminda says. Because these Vishvadevas, Vishvan Devan, Vishva means universal godheads. These are universal divine powers. They are born there to act in this manifestation and to help the involved soul to evolve. Yeah? We invoke them for our own evolution. We call to them that they come and help us to expand, to grow, and to occupy, to colonize this world. We are colonizing the world. We are intruders. We are in the constant war with this world, resisting our colonization. So we need their help. We call to them, they come, and they bring powers we need to fight those forces of darkness. As simple as that. And we expand our presence. Truly speaking, not our presence, but the presence of the divine, which we are. Yeah. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can interrupt. Otherwise, I will be talking one way always. Okay, Vishvebhi Somyam Madhu. Vishvebhi Somyam Madhu. Agne indrena vayuna piba mitrasya dhama bih. Vishvebhih again, Vishvebhih with these universal powers, or with the universal godheads. Vishvedevas is the whole class of gods, and these are the gods which are working on the universal scale. And when these universal godheads come down to our call and involve themselves into activities of sacrifice, they change their name into vasus. They are called vasus, so to say, luminous dwellers within the substance. They change their kind of position or activity, so they get involved. So by Vishvebhih means by those universal forces. Yeah? Somyam Madhu, this kind of, with all of them, O Agni, drink thou the sweetness of Soma wine. Somyam Madhu. Agne Indrena Vayuna, with Indra and Vayu. Piba, drink. Mitrasya Yamabhih, and with all the Yamans, with all the Dhamans, not Yamabhih, Dhamabhih, with all the Dhamans, drink of Mitra also. So Dhaman is a strange word, a Vedic word, from root dha, to establish, with all the establishments, or Sri Aurobindo translates with all the lustres of Mitra. I translate with inmates of Mitra. Mitra is the divine consciousness, as Sri Aurobindo translates it. Mitra from root ma, to measure, it is consciousness which manifests the divine to himself and then to the world. So if Varuna is all covering presence of the, or purity of the divine existence being, then Mitra is that luminosity of consciousness and harmony, which holds the oneness of being and manifests it in any form. So all, then Aryaman is next, then Bhaga, then Daksha, Amsha, and Surya, 7 Adityas, yes? So the second Aditya is Mitra, the divine consciousness. So all the inmates of Mitra, all the establishments of the divine consciousness, and these are all the gods, yes? All the Adityas, all the Vishvedevas, all Vasus, all the gods are the manifestations of the divine consciousness. So with all the gods, we can say, from the transcendental realm and from the universal level, come and drink of this sweetness of this honey of Soma wine. And we spoke about Soma. Soma is that extract of our delight in this manifestation, which is hidden, which has to be extracted, pressed out, extracted, purified, as the quintessential ambrosia, amrita, delight of existence. Why we are here? We are for this delight. We want to taste, to get this, as Mother says, additional ananda of existence. So the whole existence is here only for one reason, to get that delight, taste of ambrosia. It looks very primitive, but it is so. So, and that delight can be, of course, tasted by the egoistic being, as we are. We want that enjoyment and aggrandize our own, egoistic being, becoming separate, strong, asuric individuality, as we usually are. And then, or offer it to the growth of the divine consciousness in us. So in the Veda, that delight is offered to the higher powers in us, to grow in us. So we also joked about this before, that we usually offer to the divine only the work. I give you all the work I do. And when the delight comes, we gobble it by ourselves. But it should be done just on the opposite. We should do the work. And when the delight comes, we have to offer it to the divine. But when the delight is there to be tasted, we forget about the divine in that moment. And we thank the divine. Thank you for this delight. Thank you for this food at our table. That's what we do. So we kind of consider ourselves to be the purpose, the meaning. And the divine here is the worker to give us the delight. So in the Veda, it is just the opposite. So everything the rishis do, they extract the delight and offer it to the divine. So they don't enjoy it themselves. And that's also the idea, if you remember, to taste the leftovers of the sacrifice. You remember this idea? In all Indian tradition, it's something which is very difficult to explain. Why the leftovers of the sacrifice is to be eaten only? Because first we have to give the delight to the divine. And whatever is left for us, for our egoistic development, will be exactly what we need for it. Not to exaggerate ourselves, that healthy portion will be left for us, because the divine knows what is required, even for our egoistic development. That's why the leftover of the sacrifice. Yeah. So much to say about Somyam Madhu. Yeah? The honey of the Soma wine. Drink, you, with Indra and Vayu and with all the gods of Mitra. You, Agni, with all the universal powers, drink the delight of our existence. And there are two more verses, and we will be finished with this hymn. Tvam hota manurhito agne yajneshu sidasi semam no advaram yaja. Tvam, you, hota, O the summoner of the gods, manurhitach, established by Manu, can be translated in many ways. We will look into it again. O Agni, yajneshu sidasi, you sit in our sacrifices. Sa imam, adavaram yaja. So sacrifice this our journey to you, O Agni. Thou, the priest of the oblation, thinker and friend, Manurhita. Manuch hitach. Hitach can be translated as established, literally established, but can be also something auspicious, and that's why Sri Aurobindo translates as friend here. Manu as thinker, Hita as auspicious, sittest, where you sit, O Agni et Yajnas, Yajneshu. Therefore, do thou set thyself to this action of sacrifice of ours. Of this action, he translates it advaram as action. In other places, he translates it as the sacrifice journey sacrifice, pilgrim sacrifice, because it's a constant pilgrim, constant journey, constant moving forward. The sacrifice is actually a journey, a path, a moving forward. Yeah? It's not something established once in time and finished and done. No, it's ongoing process of transformation. That which was transformed will be still transformed, and will be still transformed, and will be still transformed. It's not finished. Yeah, it will be ongoing process of transformation, and this has to be kind of understood. And from here, this word adhvaram. Adhvaram, Sri Aurobindo says, it's not adhvaram as it is interpreted in the post-Vedic Sanskrit, something which is not hurting, which has no meaning, but from adhavan, the movement, the path. Yeah? And so adhvaram is connected to the journey. You, O Agni, sit at the sacrificial gatherings, being summoner of the gods, established by Manu from the beginning of time. Therefore, make sacred our path to the truth with the presence of the higher gods. This is my interpretation. I'm kind of expanding. Make sacred our path, adhvaram, yaja, sacrifice. Make it sacred. Make sacred our sacrificial path. So, make sugar sugary. Yeah? Butter buttery. But still, it makes sense because it is like an enforcement of that very quintessential journey of our spirit. Make spiritual our spiritual journey. Keep it spiritual. Transform it, constantly transform it, and lead us on the path. And then the final verse of this hymn. Yukshvahi arushirathe harito deva rohitah tabhih devan ihavaha. Yoking, O God, in thy chariot the rosy and the green and the crimson. By these bear hither the gods. My interpretation, yoke these horsepowers of red, it's different red, of red, green, crimson colors. O God, bring here the gods with their help. It's the vision that there is always some kind of swiftnesses, horses, which has to be yoked to the chariot. And in the chariot, the gods are coming down. This chariot is another symbol. It is something which helps those entities to reach out to our level. There is a gap between the Svar world and us, and that gap has to be crossed. And it is crossed in the chariot, this mysterious chariot, and the swiftnesses, powers of the divine which are doing it. Sometimes there are also streams, currents, rivers, or even doors, portals of heaven opening, and the streams come through the portals. So these are all images of the Veda to express that connection of one level of consciousness with another. So by them, by these many-colored streams or many-colored powers, many-colored swiftnesses, bring to us the gods. So interestingly, this many-colored is how Mother describes the overmind, the overmental level of Svar, of that, the ray of the sun, Rochana, from where all the gods come, according to this hymn, as many-colored. She describes the intuitive mind as luminous yellow gold, but the overmind, which is above, is with many colored. And there is another mother. There are two mothers. One is Aditi, transcendental, another is Diti, which is the consciousness of the dividing consciousness, the para and apara prakriti in the later language. But in the Veda, there is a third mother in between them. In between them, there is Prishni, and she is also many-colored. This is quite interesting, this many-colored quality of a mind. And here is the end of the hymn. So if you have any questions or want to share something, please go ahead.
I find it especially interesting, the image of the chariot, and that it as a vehicle for the transition. It kind of emphasizes the gap that exists between us and the gods, and the necessity for a transition, for them to arrive, for them to descend.
Mm-hmm. And there is another also image of the chariot of the Rishi, who says that he created this hymn as a chariot, as a carpenter makes a chariot to rise to heaven. So again, the gap. Yeah. So we have to rise to heaven on the chariot, and by the chariot, they have to come down. There is this gap to be crossed. Yeah. That's the idea of the chariot. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, Kinshuk.
Vladimir, one is that we would need the notes of this.
Oh, definitely. I didn't send you. I will send you. Now it is corrected totally, I guess.
Right.
There are some misprints, you forgive, because it was long ago. Something. It was copied from PDF, and there was so many things which are not perfected. But I will send you anyhow.
Thank you. I had a thought on this Yajatra and Idya. So are these mutually exclusive, you think? Or can a person actually kind of go in using both the directions?
I think they are not exclusive, but they cannot kind of be at the same time totally effective. Yes, one is dominating the other. If you are seeking the divine help from the heart, calling is one thing, and if you are doing it yourself, if you are tapasya, you're doing tapasya is another. So either you rely on the divine grace, or you do it yourself. They are not totally exclusive, but somehow they don't go together. It's like Vishnu and Shiva, they are both needed for this manifestation, but somehow, as you know it from all the stories and all the Puranas, they do not go together.
One is a bit asuric, would you say?
One is more chatushpat and other is dvipat, if you will.
Right.
Again,
Right.
Coming back to the same. One is more supporting the nature and the evolution of nature and all the creatures, all the beings. And the other is more taking care of that very thing representative of antaratma, antaryamin within the heart, which is the projection of the unborn self, holding that connection. The other is evolving all the instruments of knowledge, all the bodies, for the embodiment of this very being. So they are both doing the work from both sides. But when you kind of concentrate on one, you kind of cannot do the work of the other.
Okay. And one more question I had is this rosy, green, and crimson. Does the Vedas mention blue color anywhere? I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also blue, but but not in this regard with the light. Yeah.
Okay.
Never blue light.
So we need both, Vladimir, isn't it, for the progress to happen? We can't rely just on the heart, or like not just the Shiva or not just the Vishnu. We
You
need
can do either. You can rely on the heart, and that would be more than enough, or you can rely on nature and do tapasya, and it will be also good.
But how to do the nature one? I'm like a little unclear. It
Oh,
sounds more
tapasya,
complicated.
tapasya, will, effort. Make your life discipline. Make it, like tapasvin. Make one pointed aim of your life. Follow it. Organize all your life around this aim, and you will achieve everything what you want to achieve. This is the power of achievement. Mainly, humanity develops in this way of tapasya. The humanity is not developing by grace way, by love of the divine to the divine. It's very rare, actually. Those beings are rare who are calling and living by grace, as Sri Aurobindo. He says that in Savitri, surrender was his only strength. This is the line from Savitri. Surrender was his only strength. A total surrender to the divine. And then divine does everything for you. Through you, by you, with you, around you. Everything is done by the divine. But these beings are very rare. We are more kind of relying on ourselves. We are more tapasvins. We are more chatushpad than dvipad.
There are times when we manage to that happens to me. Like I become slow and completely surrender, and then there are times when I have to make a difficult choice. And like, oh God, what do I do now? I can't surrender. It's not happening. Then the entire thing changes, and it comes out.
Yeah, we are constantly in between these two. Yeah, and to a certain extent, this tapasya is needed. The effort, the quality, the sacrifices to be made first before we realize ourselves. It cannot be done, as Sri Aurobindo says. Don't think that divine will do even surrender for you. You will have to do the surrender. So that part of effort we have to make. Otherwise, some people think that divine will do even surrender for me. So I have nothing to do here. No, it's not like this. You become a lazy, not doing anything being. And that is the case in many cases, especially in the ashram, you can find such people. In Auroville, I myself was like this for quite some time. So I thought that everything can be done. And in some way it is done, because that faith in you, that it is done by the divine, is still doing, interestingly. But not in the intensity and efficacy which is required for the progress. Progress can be much more rapid. Yes, Shakti, you wanted to say something, I saw. You have to unmute yourself if you want.
It's very difficult to say anything after such a hymns. And it is so much uplifting somewhere inside, opening doors, and you immediately try to apply where you are in all of this exclamation of the soul of rishis, towards the Agni. And I immediately apply to myself, how can I relate to such a hymn, which Agni in me is more kindled, and those gods, for example, which we are calling to come through Agni, is those you mentioned, which is in Rochana, those in the hymn, it's corresponding to those gods, yeah?
Yeah, all the gods are coming from the Rochana level, actually from the supermind, but supermind is projecting it into the ray of the sun to the Svar world, and they are all born there as Vishwadevas, as the universal powers, which we need for our expansion. They have to support the growth of our soul. They have to bridge, because our soul is deep within. They have to build the bridge, as it were, outside, that our soul can reach out. Yeah? It needs this expansion, support from them. And so it is invoking them, our Yajamana, our soul is invoking them. Come and build up here for me the bridge that I can reach out. Yeah?
How can we think, for example, we speak a lot of, I think about angels, the powers of light, which is also the workers of the light, the beings which are helping us here to progress. Can we say that it is the powers of the gods which are coming down and supporting us here?
Yeah, angels. Only they are treated in the religion. They are treated differently, but they are the helpers. They are the, we say it's you are the angel of my life. You saved me. You gave me, kind of new life or something. This is exactly that.
Because I'm very much corresponding to image of angel. I don't know why. And through the Veda, it's the same powers to me if I listen to Rig Veda hymns. And I see stars which are looking and many things visualize actually. So I don't know what to say, but it is uplifting and it is really connecting somewhere inside. Wanted to share just those things.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, these are the luminous texts. That's why Indian tradition preserved them so thoroughly, that nothing could be lost. Thousands of generations of Brahmins were learning this by heart just to pass the text forward. That should be there intact somewhere in the memory. Even if you don't understand anything anymore, doesn't matter. Matters that it is there, this treasure. It's a real treasure of humanity. And now we are unpacking it for ourselves over so many thousands of years past. And we come back to these texts and see in them the meanings of our life, deeper meaning. Meaning which cannot be easily changed. As Shiv Benda says, Veda was our beginning, Veda will be our end. So everything is there, You can't reach or realize more than the Veda. It's all there, waiting to be realized. Amazing. How we missed this treasure, I don't know. Why did we go somewhere else to some science?
Vladimir, have you ever heard of this one early writing of Sri Aurobindo, where he mentions a dream in which mankind has two choices. One is to take a very difficult path, and one is to take a very simple path. It is there in his early writings. And somewhere it is related to the difference probably between Vedas and Upanishads. Upanishads is the difficult part, and Vedas is probably the simpler, straighter, easier part, sort of. I just felt that,
Interesting. Yeah. He speaks about this in different forms throughout, many times actually. Not only in the early writings, but maybe you are referring exactly to this more sophisticated path of, understanding and knowledge and this and that and psychology and, naming everything, figuring out what is what. And the other is this Vedic, more doing things, more surrendering and offering rather than understanding. Yeah, maybe early Sri Aurobindo was that, but later he became more sophisticated, and he speaks about the choice of humanity many times, that he was afraid that, for example, the Western civilization could be satisfied with its technological achievements and go that route of technological advancement. And then it could stop evolving, as it happened already in the past with the human race. And then it will start degrading, slowly.
But in Life Divine, he says that the question never really goes away. Whether even if you progress and even if you're stagnant with technological progress, the question still remains. The questions of God, immortality.
Oh yeah. Well, in the highest sense, yes.
Yes.
I'm referring to some other of his writings where he speaks about whether humanity will choose that path really from within. It's not a choice of the mind, it's the choice of the inner being, which cannot be predicted by the mind. Your mind may say everything, speak about in the religious terms about these things, but inwardly it would be kind of stagnating or kind of choosing not to progress, because it will be satisfied with its own sensual enjoyments. Drinking soma a lot, having chocolate cake for every day. And so if you have chocolate cake for every day, you have to see what happens to you, You don't need to struggle anymore. You have all the conditions of living. Then you have to see whether your soul is choosing the divine or it is stopping at the level of achievement and happiness, which it has already. And then this is the problem, especially in the West, in the Western civilization, which if in the third world people are still struggling to live, and that struggle actually is a great power. It's pushing the progress forward. But if you come to a certain level of comfort, there is a problem.
I wanted
Yes.
to ask, isn't it Mother speaks about African continent?
Yeah.
It was a very high civilization, and she speaks that they didn't choose spiritual evolution,
Right.
or something of this kind. I remember.
Yeah.
Maybe it was.
Absolutely, it is about Africa. She says that they were satisfied with the achievements. The same with I think it was the same with Atlantis. The technological advancement and realization of happiness of this sensual kind of drinking soma for one's own ego becomes the very thing of which is enough for the development of the soul. And from that time on, the Africans' great civilization million years back started to degrade to the animal level. So if you don't move forward, you move backward. You cannot stay. This is the issue, the very issue. And she was worried about this. She said that when supramental will come, if I look at the map of Earth, the Africa is the most difficult part. It's like a black hole. It's dark. There is no consciousness. There is no need of this advancement and development in the direction of the spiritual. So if this need is not there, then when supramental force comes, it will destroy it. It will degrade it even more. So there are these references in the Veda, which is also in symbolic language, it is said, or dawn or Usha, do your work very fast. Hurry to finish your work, because when the sun comes, he will burn everyone as thieves and robbers. So the thieves and robbers have to be changed and prepared for the arrival of the sun. If they are not prepared, if we don't have enough energy, inner energy, the sun will recognize it as the something which belongs to the past. Yeah. So, and it will fall into the past. Yeah, it's a profound question. So, whether Western civilization will choose to go forward or will stop its happiness of comfort, it's still there. The question is still there. It's not yet fully answered. I believe we chose the progress. I still believe so. But I don't want to think that we choose to. But I can feel this strange feeling in the US of the finished product. You can see it in Europe also. It starts stagnating and falling down slowly. You could see that they are not growing anymore. The growth has stopped. And this is a dangerous part, where we have to, with new kind of energy, we will have to revive the whole moving forward.
The war will not let us.
Maybe war was the only way to
Yeah.
push us again to rethink our ideals of our democracy, because without war it was a stagnation, it was a swamp. You could see it.
But in personal lives, Carl Jung says that the subconscious itself will send the difficulties in life that will push the man forward, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, that's what we are facing now. Yes, subconscious was allowed to enter and to bring the forces for pushing us forward. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this knowledge comes from Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, and it is of a great help. We understand the processes better, which is absolutely impossible to understand without this knowledge. Great. Okay, so we can stop here. It's 11 o'clock. I will close with mantra. Next time we will take another hymn. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santo Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om. Namaste.